The Annual Migration of Clouds is a cli-fi post-apocalyptic novella by author Premi Mohammed. It takes place in the distant future, after the climate crisis has entirely disrupted life as we know it, and a mysterious, mind-controlling fungus has wormed its way through the scattered population. The story focuses on a choice. Reed, a young woman who carries this parasite, has been given a chance to move far away, to study in one of the few communities sustained by pre-disaster technology. But her mother is ill, and in a world where the planting season is planned down to the minute, everybody counts. It's not easy for her to leave her loved ones behind. To set her family up for life, Reed decides to take part in a foolhardy and dangerous mission. To accomplish this task, she must ask others to put great trust in her, but she can't easily separate her own thoughts from the parasite's will, making it difficult for her to even trust herself. If you're not yet familiar with Premi Mohammed, you're sure to hear of her soon. She's an Indo-Caribbean scientist and author based in Edmonton, Alberta, where this book is set, and a rising star in speculative fiction. Premi is a biologist and works in the field of climate science, so the depiction of Reed's parasitic passengers is eerily plausible, and the climate disaster scenarios in the book are grounded in modern-day research predicting an all-too-likely future. Yet there's still hope to be found here. Rather than doubling down on the hardships of life after technology, as so many gritty apocalyptic novels do, this book's focus is on connection and friendship, the things that bind us together. It shows the world moving forward after terrible hardships, including natural disaster and plague, and reflects upon the importance of community, our duty to take care of one another, and our collective ability to get through difficult times. In other words, it is exactly the sort of book we need right now. This is Cast of Wonders, the young adult fiction podcast featuring stories of the fantastic. Welcome. Episode 475. I'm Catherine Inskip, your editor and host. Our story for today is Miss Tansybaum's Circus of the Moderately Peculiar by T. Kingfisher, previously published on the author's website. T. Kingfisher, more usually known as Ursula Vernon, is the author of many children's books, the Hugo Award-winning comic Digger, and the Nebula Award-winning story Jackalope Wives. She writes books for adults under the name T. Kingfisher, including The Seventh Bride, The Raven and the Reindeer, and the latest Paladin's Grace. This year she was nominated for the Lodestar Award for Best Young Adult Book for the novel Minor Mage. This story is narrated by Amy Brennan. Amy is a huge fan of all manner of fiction and non-fiction writing, music, art, basically anything even mildly creative. A geologist by training, holding a master's in geoscience from Keele University, she used to make mud pies for a living, which is a job that is both enjoyably challenging and at times mind-numbingly repetitive. She devoured audiobooks at a rate of knots to get her through the day, until she discovered podcasts and hasn't looked back since. She lives in Cambridgeshire with her partner and 3 floofs of the cat and rabbit type. She has one professionally published credit, Bunny, and has recently started dipping her toes into narrating. She occasionally blogs, and you can follow her on Twitter. And now, we've a tale to tell.
Miss Tansybaum's Circus of the Moderately Peculiar by T. Kingfisher. By all accounts, Miss Tansybaum's Circus of the Moderately Peculiar should not have continued to operate. They were a very small operation, as circuses went. They had no rides, and their menagerie consisted of a single geriatric lion and a handful of obscure species, such as the Sudanese crooning lizards, who were obscure for a reason. Sure, Brendan the monojuggler could keep a single ball in the air for hours, but he got tired of watching after the first few minutes. Lord Maggot-Haunch's Carnival of the Unordinary should have crushed them out of existence in the first year. Indeed, that was among the Lord's stated goals. And its failure to do so was a source of intense frustration for him. Did he not have scantily clad women and a genuine, if sullen, tiger? Did he not have a genuine freak show with real-life freaks? including a pair of dubious Siamese twins and a two-headed calf in a jar. Miss Tansybaum did not have a freak show. At least not in the conventional sense, although the less charitable would argue that the entire operation qualified. Instead, she had Sister Rosemary's Curious Convent. The 6 nuns of the Curious Convent belonged to the Travelling Order of St. Barnaby, patron of sideshows, and they took their work seriously. While Sister Rosemary had retired from performing, claiming that sword swallowing was work for younger women, the Curious Convent still included the world's smallest nun, the fire-eating nun, the strong nun, the bearded nun, and, occasionally, the tattooed nun as well. Sister Mary Adelia's tramp stamp was considered rather too racy for some venues, even if it did portray the martyrdom of St. Sebastian. This was all very entertaining in its way, even if Sister Clara hated being billed as the triumph of faith over fire, and insisted on ending her performance with a short speech about how faith was wonderful for triumphing over adversity and despair, but was less useful against careless handling of flammable oil, and one should never attempt fire-eating at home. Nevertheless, the Curious Convent had difficulty competing with a two-headed calf in a jar, and lived in dread of the day Lord Maggot-Haunch procured a real live Fiji mermaid. No, the success of Miss Tansybaum's circus lay in 3 things. First of all, she knew her audience. She knew, for example, that there was no real point to a petting zoo when you mostly toured rural communities, with children who could pet a sheep at any time they wanted and, anyway, knew too much about sheep to want to pet one in the first place, which cut down significantly on overhead, and there were absolutely no clowns. The Circus of the Moderately Peculiar was a place you could go and be absolutely sure you would not encounter a clown. They'd had a mime ventriloquist for a while. At least, he said he was a ventriloquist, although, since the dummy was a mime too, it was hard to tell. But he'd moved on to more avant-garde performance art, and no one was sad to see him go. Side note, Penelope and her perilous frog took his trailer. Miss Tansybaum hated clowns, and didn't think someone should be subjected to a sudden clowning just because they wanted to come out to the circus for a day. Lord Maggot-Haunch thought clowns were jolly, and employed 6. At least one of which was rumoured to be a Bulgarian hitman attempting to flee from his past. Secondly, Miss Tansybaum's roast peanuts were better. Third, Miss Tansybaum's fortune-teller, Mother Radish, could actually tell the future, and was wise enough to know when not to do so.
T. Kingfisher's stories are always an utter delight. In this short piece we have an entire world of wonder, a fully realised society with carnivals of intrigue. It also nails the humanity of its characters. Miss Tansybaum gets people, and so does the author. There's a lot of storytelling wisdom here. Give people things that will provide warmth and comfort, whether roasted peanuts or a warming tale. Know what else they need in their lives and bring them something they can't get. But do ensure it's authentic and not fake clowning played for laughs. And know when you've done just enough. Join us again soon. We love bringing you the best audio fiction week after week, but we can't do it without your support. Your donations pay our authors, our narrators, our servers and our staff. Please consider supporting us with a monthly donation through either PayPal or Patreon. You can also review us on Apple Podcasts, request us on Spotify, and consider the stories we publish for award consideration. There are lots of ways you can help. Join the discussion on the EA Forum, forum.escapeartists.net, or the EA Discord. Visit us on Twitter at Cast of Wonders. Come say hello. Cast of Wonders is a production of Escape Artists Incorporated and is brought to you by editor Catherine Inskip, assistant editors Andrew K. Ho and Carissa Sluss, editorial assistant Amy Brennan, associate editors Amy Brennan, Alicia Caparasso, William Haight Minor, Umera Hussain, Sean Proctor, Ray O, Susie Rodriguez, Emma Smales and Denise Sudell. Our art director is Alexis Goebel, our community manager is Denise Sudell, and our audio producer is Jeremy Carter. Our episodes are released under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 International License. That means you can download or listen to the episode on any device you like, but you can't change it or sell it. Our theme music, Appeal to Heavens, is by Alexei Nov and available from Promo DJ or his Facebook page. Thank you for listening.